This week on LCARA Ham Radio, I'm going to travel to Sacramento, California and meet up with this guy. And not only am I going to interact with another club and their net, but K6ARC Mike is going to loan me his Hamo can and go over how it works. And we're going to use that so I can get on their net. That's what's coming up this week on LCARA Ham Radio. So, Mike, what's your call sign?
KN6RVU.
KN6RVU.
Our Romeo Bravo uniform.
Romeo Bravo uniform. And what do we have today?
Well, I brought you my Go box so that you'll be able to join our net tonight on K6ARC.
I really appreciate that, Mike, and we'll document getting on the net tonight with the Hamo can, and he's got a radio, a J-pole, I think, in there, and some other things. So. Yeah. And the repeater's roughly 60 miles away?
Yeah, 50 something, yeah.
In that ballpark, yeah. So
on Mount Zion.
Mount Zion, all right. Well, thanks for bringing this in, and we might talk to you a little bit more about the contents when we have an opportunity later this afternoon.
Okay.
All righty, we're back here, and we're looking at the Hamo can here that Mike has brought in. And the reason we're doing a video on this is I'm traveling. My brother and I travel quite a bit for training purposes. And occasionally we try to do amateur radio related activities when we're on the road. This week, to participate on a net on a club that is here in California, just outside of Sacramento, Mike has brought in the Hamo can so that I can borrow it and get on the net with their club. And of course, my club, LCARA, Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association, and then your club's name was K6ARC?
That's the repeater's call sign. The club is the Amador County Amateur Radio Club. This is my Hamo can I brought in just to loan Brian so he can check in on our net tonight and do a little ham when he's on the road.
Absolutely. Folks, one of the things that I always like to point out is clubs helping clubs. And just members of clubs. Maybe you have an Elmer that another club doesn't have, but people at that other club could use that Elmer's work. We have Ron, who actually is out of Lodi, just a little bit out of town here, who has been using his service monitor to tune our duplexers and things like that. And sometimes a smaller club wouldn't have that expertise, and it helps when a club helps another club. Can you quickly just kind of go over what's in the Hamo can here?
Sure, let's open it up, take a look. So this is just a standard ammo can, really. I purchased the ammo can and some of the fittings from Quicksilver Radio, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard.
Quicksilver Radio, absolutely.
Yeah. Inside the ammo can, mine's actually oriented this way. The microphone, you can easily plug in. It's just like any other microphone.
Yeah.
I keep a small antenna in here. This is just a small whip antenna. It goes on the BNC connector. This is good for 10 watts. So if you're doing local, like from my house, I can use this to reach Mount Zion and our repeater. But from down here, we'll need a little bit more antenna for that. So to address that, because I also take this box like when I go camping up in the Sierra Nevada mountains, there's often no cell service.
Right.
So I can still reach out and touch somebody if we need some help or something. So, but to be able to do the full 25 watts that this radio will put out, I have in the bag here a roll-up J-pole antenna, and this allows me to do 25 watts. It works really good. I talked quite a long distance on this antenna. Got a couple extensions for it so you can have the antenna a little bit farther away from the radio,
right,
which can be important because sometimes maybe you have this in a tree outside, you want to be in the shade. That's always a good thing.
Absolutely.
This has a lead acid battery in it, which isn't always the best because it's a little heavy. The next one of these that I built for my wife has a lithium polymer battery in it, so it weighs less than half, about a third of the weight. This also, see if he has Anderson connectors here. Anderson connectors allow me to hook up things like this battery charger here,
right,
or a direct 12-volt tap to your car cigarette lighter.
The accessory port, yeah.
That gives you options in case the battery does die. You can go, but I've used this battery for 8 hours solid during different events.
Yeah.
We also have some USB ports over here. You can charge your phone, a DC voltage meter, just so you know what the battery is, because when this battery gets down to about 11 volts, when you key up this, especially on high power, this radio is going to crap out.
Right, exactly.
There's a cigarette lighter adapter here, so you can, use your various cigarette lighter things like air up your air bed or something, which I've actually used. So.
Well, that's cool. And then give us a little bit of an indication of which radio we're using this time.
Well, this is actually a QYT KT8900D. This is like an $80 radio on Amazon. I can turn it on here. We can see. This is a great little inexpensive radio. I actually won this one at our club's Christmas party the first year that I was there as a ham. I just got my license in October, and so in December I won my first radio.
Nice.
And I actually last year gave one of these away as in the raffle myself to return the favor back to the club.
Right.
And its funny thing is another new ham won that radio as well.
Perfect.
And it works as kind of the pay it forward thing that we like to do. This little setup right here is, when it's all closed up, is waterproof. You put a little silicone on the screws and it's pretty watertight. It's portable, it's rugged. As I said before, I take this camping. It rides in the back of the truck on dirt roads, doesn't care.
Right. And you're essentially using this as a go box.
It's a go box. That's exactly what I use it for. We do a bicycle race event. We do the radio communications for that. And when I do that, then I'll have a magnetic mount antenna on here and with a cable, and I just run it out through the window onto the roof of the car so that I can go back to high power.
Right.
And because you don't want to use 25 watts with this little guy.
That little guy, yeah. This is from Quicksilver. Does it come as just a bunch of pieces and you put it together? That's the repeater ID.
Yeah, that's my repeater ID. You can get it a lot of different ways.
Okay.
It's Quicksilver Radio, right? They're very flexible. You can get just the can. You can get the can and this control panel. You can get, just this. You can get any piece you want, or you can get it kind of bundled as a package. They actually have little drop downs, and you can select the items you need.
That makes sense.
Want. This one, I think I bought the battery and the control panel, and then I added my radio and everything else myself. And when I built for my wife, I got just the control panel and the antenna mount, and everything else I did myself.
Okay.
So, in hers, like this one, you see there's a metal strap in here. If you look down inside, there's a metal strap that goes all the way around. It's 3 bolted through the can to hold the battery. That's because this battery is very heavy. With the lithium polymer, I actually used some VHB, very high bond, double-sided tape with Velcro in between it, so that the battery is actually Velcroed in here. And let me tell you, you'll need a screwdriver to get that bad boy back out.
Right.
But it's very securely mounted in there, and I save more weight and less holes in the box.
Right.
So in that one, like I said, I didn't buy any of those brackets because I didn't plan on using them.
And again, this is available in a number of configurations, depending on how much you want to spend and how much you want to do yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy every component in here separately if you want to do it differently, if you don't like the way it was done. For example, I'll give you an example. When it comes from Quicksilver Radio, it's actually made to go this way. So all the displays and everything are lined up at this point here.
Right.
And then your antenna comes out. Well, I didn't like that. That offended me, so I turned mine around. So all of mine are set this way. The radio is set this way. All these displays are set this way.
Yeah.
And that puts my antenna. I can put an elbow, and it comes out the top.
Right.
Puts the battery upside down, but who cares?
Nobody cares about
it's
that.
an AGM, so it
Right.
doesn't matter.
And ballpark, how much would something like this cost if you were to have them include everything?
I think it's getting into the $300.
About $300?
Yeah. So it,
But in your
cheap-
case, you had a radio already.
Yeah. Cheap, no. You can even get a radio. They'll even add a radio to it if you want, and they can assemble it. They can not assemble it. There's a lot of options. It's very versatile. You could start with just the can and add the components as you can or as you want to. work on it yourself, work on a different layout. I tried, I was actually going to make one in a Pelican type case. One of the other clubs, the Calaveras Club, which is T-Cares, no, that's C-Cares, I think, and Calaveras, and T-Cares is Tuolumne, and they had one in a Pelican case. I really liked it, but I did a lot of work to try to figure out how to make it fit in there the way I wanted, and then have a good speaker and everything else, and I kind of got frustrated with it, and my wife's like, hey, when are you gonna get that built for me? I'm like, here, you get another one of these. I told her I was buying another one of these cans and gonna do that. You know what she said? She said, great, because I really like that.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
She taken hers, has got stickers all over the outside and stuff that she likes, and it's hers. And she has a different radio than I have too. And we switch off using them, and that's an important thing, that you're going to use this tonight to connect to net.
Yeah.
Well, we use one of these every week to check into net. Why? Make sure these work.
They're working.
Make sure something hasn't happened, because actually one night my battery voltage was too low, so when I keyed up, the radio rebooted. Okay, well now I can't check into net. I missed my call in, so now we slide mine to the side, grab hers, hook it up, plug your antenna in, turn it on. I check in as a late member.
Right, right.
So, hey, we know, we got to charge this, got to get her ready to go for, any kind of emergency.
We have new members, and occasionally we'll have comments on the channel. Why do you guys run so many nets? And I think people fail to recognize that you're practicing etiquette, you're practicing how to run a net, but you're also testing your gear. And if you've made any changes to your equipment, or if you've not used it in a while, like you had an HT sitting in a drawer, you need to get it out and test it, and a net is a great time to do that.
Absolutely. We've actually done, we sometimes do a regular net, sometimes we'll do a simplex net, just to make sure people know, okay, I need to change my radio to simplex, and because things are a little different with simplex than they are on a repeater.
Right.
And so it's another great way to test your radio, and then you can get a signal report. On simplex, can you reach it? Whoever's doing the net,
right,
from where you're at,
and who can relay you, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Mike, I want to thank you so much for bringing this in today, so that I can join the net tonight. The K6ARC net is at 7:30 Pacific time on Tuesdays. And so when I get back to the hotel, I'll be putting that J-pole up, probably in a tree. I've got a tree in the back there, and we'll try to check in with this. And I'm looking forward to it, because when you're on the road, let travel opportunities also be an opportunity to work your amateur radio skills and meet new people.
Absolutely.
Meet new people.
We'd love to have you at the net tonight. So
thanks so much, Mike, for bringing this in. And in the next segment, I will be setting this up in the hotel parking lot, and around 7:30, and we're going to see if we can check in. So thanks again, Mike, and I will bring this back to you tomorrow.
I'll see you then.
Alrighty, so this is KY4 BDP. I'm in Sacramento, California. I'm staying at the Courtyard, the Marriott Courtyard here, and I've set up the Go Box a little bit. I want to see if I can get into the net tonight that Mike was so gracious to let me borrow. So what I've done is I've taken his J-pole and I've attached it to a nub of a branch, and then you can see it comes down, and this is essentially straight enough up and down, should be good. And then he's got extensions for the cable that now go to the Go Box here in the car. And you can see I've got it set up. I don't have it turned on yet, but I've got the antenna connected, and I'm going to just run a quick test here. I'm going to go back to the other side of the car, and let's run a test and see if we can get into the repeater before the net starts here in about 30 minutes. So I'll be right back in the next segment. Okay, so now I'm back in the car. It's getting dark. It's almost 7 o'clock here in Sacramento, California. And I haven't turned it on yet. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Let's just make sure we have power. And it looks like we got 12.7 volts. 12.8. Probably as it sits there without the radio on, it might even go up to about 12.9, but that's plenty of power. And I probably won't be talking a long period of time on the net, but I just want to make sure I can get in. Now, let's power on the radio. I think it's this button on the left. There we go. Probably much louder than I need it to be. Let's turn that down a little bit. There we go. And let's check to see what power, how much power we're set up for. This will run in low and high, and looks like the H there in the top left means that I'll be running in high. It's already on the repeater frequency of 147.165, and we should be able to have no problem from a frequency standpoint. I think the radio's all set up the way it should be. Now let's take the mic and let's see if we can touch the repeater. KY4 BDP testing repeater access. And we got a little bit of a tone back there, not an actual ID, but a courtesy tone back from the repeater. And if there's anybody listening, they may give me a report back. They may not, because it's still early yet, and many of the folks may not actually have their radios on until closer to net time. But we did hit the repeater with no problems. It's actually almost full quieting, if not practically full quieting. So we've got a good setup here. We're going to come back in about 30 minutes. When the net actually starts, we'll record that, and we'll have some fun. And I'll get to check in to another repeater for a club here on the West Coast. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. The net's about to get started. We've got less than a minute. I'm going to turn this down a little bit, and we'll listen to it hopefully at a lower volume. And once it's my time to check in, we'll do so.
Good evening. This is Rick, N6KOB, and I'm being at control for this edition of the Amador County Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net. Emergency traffic may break in at any time by saying break, break, which is an accepted way of indicating you have emergency traffic. Is there any emergency traffic at this time? Meets every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. local time on the K6ARC repeaters. The repeaters are located on Mount Zion and operate on either a frequency of 146.835 with a minus offset, or a frequency of 441.525 with a positive offset. Both use a PL tone of 100. Provides information about the club. You're also encouraged to look at the club website at www.k6arc.org for information about the club and its activities, or to contact officers or coordinators. This is a directed net. Please direct traffic through net control. Is there any station with priority traffic?
While we wait for the priority traffic message, I'll try to put up Repeater Book, the app on the phone, and a quick little screenshot of this repeater and the frequency.
Hey, all other visitors are invited to check in. Please give your call sign, name, and location. I'll acknowledge each after you check in. Visitors and guests, please check in now, and when you give your name and call sign, please do it slowly so I can write it down. Any visitors wishing to check in tonight?
Now my turn.
Good evening, everyone. This is Alpha Golf 6 Hotel Tango, Dave down in Volcano.
This is Kilo Yankee 4 Bravo Delta Papa Brian at the Courtyard Marriott off of White Rock.
Any other visitors wish to check in tonight?
Doubled with him. This is Kilo Yankee 4 Bravo Delta Papa Brian at the Courtyard Marriott on White Rock.
Okay, got the call sign, missed the name, my pen broke. Could I have your name again, please? Delta Yankee Papa.
Roger, Roger. Kilo Yankee 4 Bravo Delta Papa. My name is Brian. I'm visiting from Tennessee and staying at the Courtyard Marriott off of White Rock.
Okay, Brian, thank you for your check-in. And Good signal. However you're getting it into the repeater, it's a nice clear signal tonight. So thank you for your check-in. Any other visitors wish to check in tonight?
And that's thanks to Mike's Hamo can. And the J-pole is doing wonderful. And at this point, I will probably drop off because most of this is there for their members only and won't have any thing to pertain to me. But we'll come back at the next segment. And that'll wrap up the video this week. I want to thank Mike, KN6RBU, and the Amador Amateur Radio Club in the, we'll call it White Pine area in Amador County. They're just outside of Sacramento for hosting me on the net and providing the equipment. Get out on the road, folks, and when you are out on the road, take some of your equipment or maybe find out the local club in that area and join in with their activities. You never know. You might have a good time. For the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association, I'm KY4BDP Brian. We hope you enjoyed the video, and as I mentioned, get out there, and even if it's not your own club, see what you can do to participate. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video, 73.